Hi all. So here in this video, we'll learn how to animate the analytical process or visualization. So in for this project, what we should know first is we should know the fundamentals of Python programming, the basic knowledge, and we should also know the techniques how to manipulate data using pandas because we'll be using a few pandas techniques uh, to manipulate earthquake data. And after that, we should also know some data visualization with Plotly. So there are some functions which are really, helpful to produce interactive plots using Plotly. We have something called graph objects and Plotly Express. So any of that is fine. So basic visualization is must to deal with this project. And after all, to finish this or to implement this, we should know how to read documentation. Even if you are a beginner or if you know some experience, if you are experiencing programming, you should know how to read the documentation. Otherwise, uh, you can't be able to figure it out how to do or solve any task. So these four are must for this project. I'll not be teaching the basic fundamentals and other things. So I'll be sharing my project, which I have implemented using all these concepts. Moving ahead, let's see the data or source of the data. So as usual, we'll be taking data from USGS. USGS stands for United States Geological Survey. So the main goal of this agency or organization is to collect uh, earthquake hazards data, analyze it, and produce information out of it. Not just this, it also takes or captures data of earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, and many more. You can find the details in the website. So as of now, we are in the data spreadsheet format, the title of the page. And here we can see we have the description. Data is provided in the format of CSV, comma, separated values. And we can see the feeds. So here the earthquake data is captured, and it is captured on hourly basis, daily basis, weekly basis, and monthly basis. You can observe every category is updated every minute. So it's a live streaming data where we can develop live streaming dashboards. So that can be very uh, helpful. So what we will be doing now, we'll be taking these three categories. We'll be skipping this one because past hour data has very less values. So we'll just take these three categories. Even here, we'll be focusing on all earthquakes in every category. Okay, we'll try to create one animation plot using Plotly. And before that, we should process the data. That's why we require Pandas knowledge. So here we have the columns of the data. We can see we have time, latitude, longitude, depth, and whatnot. We also have place wherein we can, highlight the place area to see all the earthquakes. You can also see the screenshot of the data, but I have downloaded this data in my local system, and we can see the format. We have time, latitude, longitude, and we can go sidewards and we can see the columns. We have the place name, and yeah, this is the data. But how, the question now is, how can we take data from this website? So we have links provided here. As I said, we'll be focusing on this part in every category. So the link of this looks something similar to this. We have the link of the data and the extension of the file is .csv. And this brackets, the link is same, but only thing is we need to change the input value here. If you want to take hourly data, then we should simply replace the brackets with all hour. And likewise, the rest of the values are passed. So as we talked, we'll be taking the last three because all our we can skip. So we just need to apply some conditions as per the function parameter, and we can fetch the data easily. We can use a format method to fill in the value there, and Python has the implementation, so we can easily do it. So let's see what we can do. So this is my notebook file where the implementation is done. I'll be executing each cell and explaining you what it does. As always, we'll begin with the inputs. I'm importing pandas, numpy, plotly express as px, and also plotly graph objects. Although we don't use this here, but I have just imported it. And next thing is we have some extractors, basically helper functions. This is mainly used to separate sub area and the area, which you can find in the place column. I'll explain you in a while. Just give me a second. So let me just execute this and I'll come to the part. In the place column, if you observe carefully, we have some area name and the main area or region. It is separated with comma and space in between. So whatever value comes before the comma is actually a sub area. Similarly, whatever value which comes after comma and space, it's actually main area or space region which we want. And this main area can repeat, but not this. So ultimately, we can filter the data by passing specific region, and we can get all the sub area data and we can visualize on the map area wise or worldwide. We can do either way. So the question is, how can we separate? So basically, if we have something similar to this, so we have place name which has some value, and we have the area name, sub main area name. We can see in between we have comma and space. The question now is how to separate this into two columns. As usual, we want like this, but for solving this problem, we can use a for loop. We can iterate to each value and check for comma and space, and based on that we can split. But it can be time consuming because for loop tends to perform slow if the data contains some million rows. For loops may not work efficiently. For solving this, we'll proceed with the pandas technique to split this data, which I'll explain in a minute. So for extracting this sub area and the area, we use these helper functions. And likewise, we have some other functions which can manipulate a time column. So we have this time column, right? It can be helpful. This column is helpful to visualize or to animate the data. So we'll see how to do it. I'll explain this when I reach the time part. Okay, just execute this for now. Now we have another function called fetch quakes data. It has following parameters. called manner, bounding box worldwide, and magnitude threshold. So by default, we have these values daily, worldwide, and 2. Now comes the link, the URL link of the data. And you can see we have brackets here, which we have to fill the particular value. Based on this parameter, we can choose, we can actually format the link. If manner is weekly, just replace these brackets with all week. Similarly, if manner is monthly, just replace these brackets with all month. Else, just take the daily data. This is the default one. Even if you don't provide this function actually takes the default one, daily earthquakes. And once we get the proper link, because the link has .csv extension, we can easily read the data using pandas read CSV. And yeah, once it is read, we now take subset of the data. So we can skip some columns, and these columns, trust me, even I don't know what this is used for. But if you're a seismic researcher, then you might know what these columns are used. But as of now, just to visualize this data, we'll take time, latitude, longitude, magnitude, and place. Okay, this is how we take the subset. And once we take the subset, now comes the splitting part. So as usual, we can use for loop, but to avoid or to get efficiency in the programming execution, we'll use pandas technique, basically to convert this column into 2 separate columns. It's just one line code. So this will split the data. But still, we know split function actually results into a list, right? It gives the result in the form of list. We don't still get a proper separated columns. For that purpose, we should use the apply method of pandas to actually take the 0th value, which is the sub area for a sub area column, and first index value of the list for main area column. And this is how we do it. So I'm calling the functions here, which I have defined. So x is actually a list which contains 2 values, sub area and the area. And because we want to take sub area, we'll only consider the 0th index. And for area, we only consider the last index. So that's why I have taken x of -1. And I'm passing the function names here using apply method. And later on, I'm just removing or dropping the column called place. Very simple. Now we got this. After getting, based on the magnitude threshold, we have to filter the data. So I've given the conditions here. Even if you don't provide this value, it automatically takes the default one, just like a validation part. Here I have a condition: if the mac thresh is of type integer and mac thresh is above 0, just filter the data based on the magnitude column. So we have already taken the magnitude column, right? Just filter the data based on this value. And once it is done, now comes the next part. That is finding the center latitude and center longitude. This thing is very helpful to open the map from that location. Otherwise, what happens is the map gets opened at the origin. So there can be earthquakes happen in that origin, but it's better we take, we actually extract center lat and center long based on the area that we provide, bounding box. So if bounding box, which is nothing but the main area name, Hawaii or anything, it can be anything, it can be India also. Based on the value of the main area, we are taking this, we are filtering the data. So if bounding box is in the area list, if it is there, just filter the data and find the maximum magnitude. Based on that, extract the latitude of that row and the longitude of that row. Let's think of this way. Here the magnitude is 2.04, which is the maximum, right? So what I'm basically trying to explain is, we'll find the maximum magnitude and just select this row. In this row, extract the latitudes and longitudes. That's it. And this becomes our center lat and center long values. Else, if the bounding box is worldwide, just take this default value where you can see the whole map. Center lat equals 54, center long equals 50. Now, once we get this, we can actually visualize based on this center lat and center long. After this, I'm considering the time column and converting that column into date time object. So we can easily do with pandas to date time method. Now, based on this value, parameter value, I'm trying to find weekday, monthly, and hours. So if manner is weekly, what I will do, I'll make a new column called weekday. For this, I'll extract the weekdays 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 based on that time period. So time consists of date time object right here. So it will take this value and it will extract the weekday of it. So we can easily do with the pandas technique. So this function here, fetch weekday. So we have a method called weekday. If it is time object, date time object, we can use this method. And that's why I'm converting the time column into date time object using pandas prior to these conditions. So it fetches the weekday out of time and it simply creates a new column. Similarly, if the manner is monthly, if this parameter is monthly, I'll just take the date value. So new call equals date, eqdf, which is my data frame, new call equals eqdf of time. Apply function, that is fetch date. So if you carefully see now, once we convert this into date time, we will get a space in between. And this function literally splits the data based on the space and extracts the 0th index, that is the actual date of that value. So I'm just applying the method and fetching all the dates if the manner is monthly. Later on, for daily, if the manner is daily, then I should, because the organization captures data on the daily basis. So in a day we have 24 hours. So I'm literally taking the hours from the time. So fetch hour is my function, which actually fetches the hour. So here I'm splitting the time based on space, and you can find the colon. Let me show you the data. So in place of t, we get space, and I'm taking the first value and I'm splitting based on the colon. So this colon part, the first one, is actually hour, 15th hour. That's what I'm extracting. So this function literally extracts the hours, and I'm creating a new column ultimately. So after doing it, I'll sort the values of the data by time column and return the equidf with center let and center long. This is what the function is basically. So please go through this function. I'll provide the link in the description box. You can go through this. You can also run this code. Just execute the cell. And after this, we have a visualizer function to basically visualize the data animation in the form of animation. So here again, this takes the same parameters which we already saw. And in this, I'm calling the function fetch Quakes data. You can see here. If the manner is daily, monthly, animation frame AF equals date. Else if the manner is weekly, animation frame equals weekday, which are nothing but the columns, guys. So here we have created the columns, right? That's what it is. Else animation frame is hours. This is important to animate the data. So we are having a parameter called animation frame where we have to pass the column name of the data. So once this is done, here I'm deciding the zoom level of the map based on the bounding box. If bounding box is worldwide, just take the one zoom, else take 3. 3 if bounding box is not equal to worldwide, else 1. It's a one line if else code. And later on, I'm having a figure object or variable where I'm using a scatter mapbox method of Plotly Express. So I'm importing the Plotly package, right? So there we have a scatter mapbox method, which has these parameters. We have data frame, which is actually our actual data frame, that is equidf. Later on, to visualize data on the map, we must have coordinate values, right? That's what these two are. Lat equals latitude, lon equals longitude. Once we have this, we also must have the origin where we want to open the map. That's why we have center. It's a parameter in this method, and we are having a dictionary value for it, wherein the center latitude is CLAT and center longitude is CLong. And once we have this, we also want to design the marker, right, based on the magnitude value. The marker is size is decided with the magnitude column and also the color scale. When we hover on the point, we must see some information, and that's why I have this parameter called hover name, wherein I'm passing the sub area column, which we created already. And zoom level of the map. So we should have a style for visualizing the map. To visualize earthquakes data, Stamen terrain is the best fit style. So we can easily, use this Stamen terrain map, which is available in Plotly. Mapbox style equals Stamen terrain. And now comes the animation frame. So we can pass the value AF, which is decided based on this manner parameter. And we have this title of the plot. It's very simple to understand. I'm having a layout update method to where I have the margin as zeros except the top. So LRTB, left, right, top, bottom. So I'm just having the margin top, that is 40, and then I'm showing the figure. Let's just execute this. So first thing, we'll visualize the worldwide data daily basis. So I must specify the manner as daily. So we'll just take a bounding box as a default value, that is worldwide, and MAC_thresh, that is none. Execute the code. So it just takes a couple of seconds and we can see the beautiful map. You can zoom in, zoom out. And if I just press this play button, the map starts. I mean, you can see the animation clearly. Here you have the hours column. Just execute this, sorry, just press the button and you can see the animation happening. You can see the update here, hours update, 12 hours, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19. The date, you can see the update in the date also. And this is for daily, guys. Coming to weekly. So if we have weekly data, we should show the weekday as our animator column, animation frame. So let's see what happens. So we have the name here, weekday, which is our column name. And the weeks actually have 7 values, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I just press this play button, you can see the animation that's happening. You can hover on the points and zoom in, zoom out. We only have 7 values. Coming to monthly basis, we actually have date as animation frame. And this is done for worldwide data. Actually, monthly data is very large, so it takes some time to load. And you can see here, I think we have at least like 30 values below, and date column is specified. You can zoom in, zoom out as usual. The size of the marker is different. It depends on the magnitude value. So this is done for worldwide. Coming to specific region, we must specify bounding box, different value other than worldwide. We can visualize the data now. So we can see the map slightly zoomed in, and we can see the Alaska region that is here. As usual, you can simply press the play button to see the animation. Similarly, weekly. And finally, we have monthly data for specific region, Alaska. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Thank you all.